can finish your thought.
I think
It's gone.
Chilling with Lady Jess. Yeah, yeah. Chilling with Lady Jess. Chilling with Lady Jess.
Hi, welcome back Dvine fam. It's your girl Lady Jess. It's MBS Talks, and today I'm not alone. I've got the beautiful Nombulelo Mehlomakhulu.
Do you want to give them my ID number as well?
Yes. I'll give you the whole CV, guys. But yes, we're not alone, and we're talking such an important topic, I think. Friendships. So the reason why I have Miss. Now I'm telling people your relationship status. The reason why I have Miss Nombulelo here is because I personally believe she has a PhD in friendships.
PhD? I don't know about a PhD.
Guys, I am so bad at friendships. Let me not say bad,
No,
because
I don't
now, let me say it's difficult, it's challenging, and I believe you do it very well.
How?
Yeah, no, I believe you shine 20, you are what the word of God says a friend must be.
Serious?
Yeah, so so she'll tell you her part of the story. Because just now I tell you guys everything, and she's like, yes, we'll keep her my fight. No, I'll allow her to share what she wants to share about it, and then I'm going to ask her questions, and we're also going to have some questions from the Word of God. So I'll just read the verse, and we can just discuss it.
Okay.
And what it says to friendships and the value it adds,
okay.
and all of that. But anyway, you can click the people. Yes, I didn't give you a chance.
Hello. You already have my name, Nombulelo. Thank you for having me on your show. Guys, if I'm camera shy, please forgive me. It's my first time.
And I guess she's not herself right now.
I don't even know where to put my eyes, actually. So I'm just like, camera, or sideways, or...
But guys, you'll forgive us as we are new to this thing. We're still learning.
But I'm also still learning. So friendship, I didn't really prepare much, which I've told Jess.
PhD people don't need to prepare, guys. They just need to be present.
We just need to be present. So as Jess has said, we're speaking of friendships and building friendships. So I think I take time for my friendships. Like, I take time to get to know people, and I invest in my friendships. So I think maybe that's where Jess's perception is coming from. Although we do fight with my friends, no one is immune. But I think the core of my philosophy on friendship is that we keep choosing each other. Every day we choose each other. Because I remember seeing a quote that says, people don't drift apart. You just wake up one morning and you stop choosing each other. So even when it's difficult, you keep choosing each other, keep choosing your friendships. Then I think friendships really do last. So I think that's my underlying motto. So even if we're angry, I'm still choosing you. The love is still there. I'm just angry. Even when I'm happy, I still love you. I'm happy. So regardless of the emotion, the love is always there. It's always the underlying factor. It's always just remembering that you care for the person, you know? Yeah.
Okay. Actually, from what you just said, a question just dropped to my mind. That's not in my notes, guys. This is like 2 hours, the agenda parts. How do you choose your friends? You know how in life sometimes you just bump into people at school and be like, she's nice to me, let me make her my friend. And then Chigi is no longer your friend. I think that was my problem from I think it was grade 1. It started early. My issues. I have issues, guys. But from grade 1 all the way till varsity, I've had problems of I reciprocate love and niceness to whoever reciprocates me, because it looks safer that way. And then when the person chooses to stop reciprocation, it's like you're the one chasing behind, trying to keep the friendship alive, and they're over you. And you're like, oh, okay, what did I do? You know?
I think it depends. I'm not going to say that everybody that I was initially friends with I've stayed friends with. I think more than anything for me, I like energies. So I like good energy that speaks to my soul. And I think as I've gotten older, my sense of discernment has become better. So when I was younger, it was harder to tell, not necessarily nobody's evil and one is bad, right? We need to align on certain things, on certain values, and the way we see the world in certain aspects of life. And I think those energies come through from a person when you meet them. So I have online friends that I've never met, and we talk almost every day.
These people have online girls' nights.
No, I mean it's that connection and building that connection, and I think it goes both ways, right? So if someone is willing to build with me, I'm willing to build with them. And that being said, nobody's perfect. So I think one thing that friendships has taught me is compassion and empathy and understanding. So sometimes people act out of character, and at the time you don't know why. So at first, let's say initially maybe I'd get hurt and say, no, this person unje uso yabo, let me leave them.
Yeah.
Because clearly A, B, C, D. And then actually you realize that people are more idiosyncratic and layered than that. So I've learned to take a step back, to say, okay, something has happened and this person has reacted in a certain way. It's either, I think maybe one, it's out of character, or two, there might be something going on, and three, it might just be what it is at face value. So it's also to decide how deep are you going to go into it and how long are you going to wait, because sometimes you don't want to push someone when they're not ready. So a lot of friendship is I try anyway to be a safe space, to say whenever you're ready to share, or whenever you're ready to say something, or whenever you're ready to address something, I'm here. So I try to create spaces with my friendships in such a way that I won't always chase you, but you always know that I'm here. You see, I have a friend who's in Korea. She lived in Korea for a whole 7 years, and our friendship never broke. We still spoke. Even if we didn't speak every week, we'd make time. Okay, I'll call you on this day. You put aside a couple of hours, you speak and you talk. And sometimes it's as simple as dropping a message to say, I'm just passing by to leave you love and hugs. Just to know that I'm still thinking of you. So even if we're not speaking every day, you know that you're still on my mind. You know that I still care about you. You know that I'm still rooting for you. You understand? And sometimes, because we get so caught up in our lives, sometimes that's all a person needs to kind of open up, to say, oh, hey, I was just thinking about you. Then it's like, oh, hi, how are you? And I'm not the type of person who asks, how are you? To be like, okay, I'm good. That's the normal answer.
Yes, those people who listen to respond, y'all get on my nerves.
Exactly. And I think often than not, I think it's recognizing when people need space and when they need you all over them. So one thing I have learned about myself is that I'm intense. So I'm an all or nothing kind of person. So I mean, I don't mind, I don't get tired being in someone's face or someone being in my space. And I also like with my friendships, like I'm a person who you'll sit next to me and I'll fall asleep. But I want my friends to be there comfortable with me. I don't want anyone to feel, or obviously when you first meet, everyone has different sides to them, right? And one thing that I've learned about myself is that whatever side that I'm showing, a person must still be able to recognize that it's me.
Oh yes.
So it's those blending of sides. I used to feel like, okay, certain people you must be this way, or other people you must be this way. And it's not saying that you should be inappropriate, because obviously a work environment's a work environment, a home environment's a home environment. But I would like to present myself in such a way that I am recognizable as myself. And my friends can, no matter what stage of life we are going through or what's happening in life, I want them to be able to recognize me, to say, oh, Lilo, this is Bully, my friend, even if we haven't spoken in a year. You must be able to call me up and say, Bully, this ABCD is happening, and you must know that point blank I'm there.
That is a lot. So much wisdom, but I think it comes from the number of years and how much effort you've placed in all of your friendships that you can speak so fluently about your experiences. I mean, I hit potholes, guys, because every time you think I understand friendship, another one's like, I don't think I do. But anyway, I have some questions.
Okay.
Yeah, so I asked Facebook a question. Can you exist in this life without any friends? What would your answer be to that question?
No. Easy.
Why?
we need those connections. It's how we connect with life. It's how we connect with the world.
Yeah.
It's even how we connect with God.
Exactly.
So friendship for me is very important. I'm not saying you should be friends with everybody that you meet. I think the basic human condition is that we are social creatures and that we connect with each other and we build with each other. Even a congregation, when you sit in a congregation, that's friendship.
Yeah.
Because you are connecting with each other in the spirit. That surely you must be sitting next to friends to be able to do that. I don't think you'd be able to sit next to an enemy and connect. Or sit next to people that you consider strangers and connect. I think for me, friendship is the backbone of everything. Every relationship that you have starts as a friendship, even with your parents. Once you become an adult and you go beyond that understanding of parent-child, there must also be friendship inside. I must be able to sit with my mother and enjoy her. Enjoy her as my mother, but enjoy her as a human being, as a person with unique experiences, as a person who can tell me stories, as a person that I can connect with, over and above her being my mother, right? My sister, my siblings. She's my sister, I love her, but I also connect with her as a friend. She's someone I enjoy spending time with. I don't think anyone in life you tolerate. That's not the way life should be. You should enjoy people. You should, when you're sitting in a room, and if you're sitting in a room and you're not enjoying people, then don't be there. Because the friendship is not there, because that's the basis. Hence why I can say I can sleep with some of my friends, because I still enjoy them. I enjoy their presence. So I do not believe that you can live through life without friendships. I think that is an antiquated way of thinking. I think it's a way of thinking in such a way that you think that you need to be alone. You know, we live in a world where you must be a lion, you must be a lone ranger. And I think it's not something that I completely agree with. I think, if I have to be completely honest, because we go where we are going because of the people that we know. They build us. I mean, alone, I will not have perception.
What then do you say to a person who is so, they're thriving? It's not like being a loner is like deterring their success in terms of workspace or church space, but in terms of their own mindset, what would you say with your experience in psychology? How does having no friends, no external influences affect your basic outlook on life?
I mean, at the most basic level, humans do not grow without love, right? Mentally, emotionally, a child cannot grow to be a self-sustaining individual in their adult life without love. Where does love come from?
And it's so sad because now, even, sorry to cut you, when people don't get used to the making friends, building friendship thing, that you get to a point where you realize that I want to have a life partner, but you're so not used to being in that role of having to give and take and have patience for a person that you don't know what to expect from this thing. And being as a woman in that space where our mandate and our assignment is to submit to a person who does not know the power that is given to them for us to submit, I just think that is just an unhealthy space for a woman to be in. So some people will be like, yeah, but you're not married, how do you know if it's what you're saying is actually sense? But yeah, it just what would you say, or how would you say friendships, because I know with your friendships you get so personal with your friends that you are even aware of the proceedings of their marriages or their relationships. How do you think that your friendship with your friends aids or takes away from their private matters?
I think that's a multi-layered answer. I'll come to your most recent one in terms of knowing the inner workings of their relationships or even marriages, etc. I think marriage is a covenant, right? Yeah. And it's someone trusting you with certain parts of their lives, and it really needs to be treated with the respect that someone is trusting you with something that they may not want someone else to know, number one, or two, they need advice on an issue that they may be facing, or they need perspective. I think it depends, right? So someone will tell you something just to let off steam, and sometimes it's a matter of asking, so are you asking me because you want advice, or are you asking me because you need to vent and you need to let it out? Like, you need to let it go so you can move on and have that discussion with the next person. And I think in terms of marriage, friendships are very important, not necessarily for meddling, because I don't believe in unsolicited advice, But I think what friendship does is that it gives you perspective. We often judge people based on what we see outside. So you'll see a marriage and you'll think, oh my God, those people are so happy. What am I doing wrong in my marriage? And so often than not, speaking to close friends is not to say who's better than who, it's just to give each other an eye. To say, did you consider A, B, C, D? Or did you not consider A, B, C, D? And that helps in the sense that you can also ground yourself and your marriage. Or yourself and the issue that you have. Also, sometimes we often think like we're going through something alone and you're not. I mean, I'm sorry to say, you're not breaking news. I like to tell people that, like, you say, don't tell anyone. Sorry, you're not the only one who's going through something or going through something similar. And often than not, because we live in a world where we must keep secrets. Yes. We must be quiet. No one must know. Only come when you're winning. Why? You're a walking testimony. I say this to you all the time. Why do you need to hide the parts of yourself that you feel like are not good? Or you feel are not for the public eye? You are a walking testimony, whatever phase you are going through in your life. And you must always know yourself. And I always want my friends to know that I'm here. Regardless of, nothing you say will shock me. Sorry.
This girl's a problem, guys.
Sorry, not sorry. Like, as long as that foundation is there and I know you as even if you make a mistake, it's not a detriment to who you are.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of the people we consider saints now, if you look at their history, hey, they say, experience comes through experience.
Yeah. And as a good friend, you actually are able to allow the person to grow and be a better person. Because there are certain friends, obviously, that keep you in a certain space of your life, and those obviously don't add to your progression. But then there are those friends like you, who I feel you have literally matured and grown with every phase of your own friend's development. Whether it's a career development thing, it's a self, realization and mastery thing, or whatever it may be, but you are so able to connect to every level of the human experience that is it just because of, or where do you think it comes from? Let me say that. Does it come from your training psychologically, or does it come from just generally your upbringing and how maybe you were given
I think
influence
I think
as
it's a
child?
Mixture of things. Okay, I have studied psychology, right?
Because
but
now Tinabanye, you just left jaw dropped at how people just choose to eliminate you from certain stages of their lives, as though like you don't qualify for this level. That level you were fine, but Lana Sisangin.
No, I think yes, I studied psychology, right? But I think for me it's a choice. It's a decision that has to be made. I'm not infallible, so I also have made mistakes in my friendships, but I've tried to learn from them, and also just to take the time to say it's not a one size fits all. People are different, and a lot of the time when getting to know people, it's just trying to understand them better. Just taking the time to understand a person, because let me tell you something, you don't get to decide if you've hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah.
So if I've hurt you and you've come to me and said I've hurt your feelings, then you deserve a sorry from me that comes from my heart. Not a sorry but.
Yeah.
Even
regardless
though
if I thought I was wrong.
Exactly.
As your friends, I must acknowledge your feelings.
Exactly. Then I think it's a lot of humbling. It's a lot of, I think when I was younger, I was more of a reactive space. And now in a more of a proactive space. And it's very proactive in the way that you address people and how you speak to them, and you kind of learn who you can be, who needs a blunt knife and who needs a sharp knife, right? Some people need abo, it's okay, I love you, come when you're ready. And then there's certain friends of mine who it's not enough. I need to kind of sit you down and be like, okay, tell me, because clearly something is going on. There are people who need you to draw. It's difficult for them to share. So you kind of need to hold them hostage. You say, listen.
I think I'm that person. Guys, we just see for so Yes, you are on the camera. Welcome back to what is this show called again?